The key turned in the lock with a click that echoed like a gunshot in the dim hallway of our Brooklyn walk-up. I froze on the worn couch, beer bottle halfway to my lips, as Alex's silhouette filled the doorway, broad shoulders tense, his face a storm cloud of something I couldn't name. "Jesse," he said, voice cracking like thin ice underfoot. "I can't pretend anymore. Not with you. Not after tonight." That night in our cramped two-bedroom on Atlantic Avenue started like any other Friday. Takeout pizza grease staining the coffee table, the hum of the AC unit rattling against the summer heat wave that had New York City choking under a blanket of humidity. I was Jesse Harlan, 26. A freelance graphic designer scraping by on gigs for indie bands and queer zines. The kind of guy who blasted Hozier at 2 a.m. while sketching logos that screamed unapologetic pride. Alex Rivera, my roommate of 2 years, was the straight-laced counterpoint, 28. A junior architect at a firm in Midtown, with a jawline that could cut glass and a laugh that filled rooms like sunlight. We met through a Craigslist ad, me needing a cheap place after my last breakup imploded in a haze of ghosting texts and shattered mugs. Him fresh off a divorce that left him wary of anything resembling commitment. No drama, we'd agreed over lukewarm beers that first night. Just rent and Netflix. But drama has a way of seeping in like damp from the walls of these old brownstones. It started small, the way Alex's eyes lingered a beat too long when I emerged from the shower in nothing but a towel, water dripping down my chest, or how he'd crack jokes about my Grindr escapades with an edge that wasn't quite envy, wasn't quite discomfort. I'd brush it off. Straight guys get curious, right? Especially ones nursing wounds from a failed marriage to a woman who'd called him vanilla one too many times. Alex was the poster boy for Midwestern transplant charm, raised in Ohio cornfields. Football scholarships, a high school sweetheart turned college fiancé. Predictable. The kind of straight that made gay boys like me feel like we were orbiting a different planet. Tonight, though, the orbit had collided. I'd come home early from a gallery opening in Bushwick, buzzed on cheap rose and the electric hum of flirting with a tattooed photographer who smelled like patchouli and regret. The apartment door was ajar when I pushed it open. And there was Alex, curled on the floor by the kitchen island, back against the cabinets, a half-empty bottle of Jack Daniels clutched in his fist like a lifeline. His button-down was untucked, sleeves rolled up to reveal forearms corded with tension, and his dark hair, usually combed neat as a pin, stuck up in wild tufts. The TV flickered silently in the background. Some cop drama paused on a freeze frame of betrayal. "Alex? You okay?" I dropped my keys on the side table, the clatter snapping him upright. His eyes, hazel like mine, but flecked with gold, locked onto me, wild and glassy. He didn't answer, just stared, like he was seeing me for the first time. Or maybe the last. I crossed the room in 3 strides, crouching down beside him. The scent of whiskey and his cologne, something woodsy, like cedar and regret, hit me like a wave. "Talk to me." "You look like hell." He swallowed hard, Adam's apple bobbing under the shadow of stubble. Then, without a word, he lurched to his feet, swaying just enough to grab the door frame for balance. I watched, heart picking up speed, as he slammed the front door shut and twisted the deadbolt. The click. That goddamn click. "Jesse," he rasped, turning back to me, his chest heaving like he'd run a marathon. "I can't pretend anymore. Not with you. Not after tonight." The words hung in the air, thick as the humidity outside. My mind raced. After tonight? What the hell happened? But before I could spit out a question, he was on me. Not in anger, not in fight, but in a collapse. His hands gripped my shoulders, fingers digging in like anchors, and his forehead dropped to mine. Hot breath ghosted my lips, whiskey sharp and desperate. "I'm sorry," he whispered, voice breaking. "Good, Jesse. I'm so fucking sorry." Sorry for what? The question burned. But his mouth crashed into mine before I could form it. A kiss that wasn't tentative or exploratory, but ravenous. Like a man who'd been starving in silence for years. His lips were rough, tasting of salt and sin, and for a split second, I kissed back, shock giving way to the heat pooling low in my gut. Alex Rivera, straight as a ruler, kissing me like it was the end of the world. Then reality slammed in. I shoved him back, hard enough that he stumbled against the wall, the bottle slipping from his grip to shatter on the linoleum. Amber liquid pooled like blood, shards glinting under the fluorescent kitchen light. "What the fuck? Alex?" My voice came out sharper than I intended, laced with the raw edge of betrayal, not his, but mine, for wanting this even as it terrified me. He slid down the wall, knees buckling, face crumpling into something raw and ruined. I know I'm a piece of shit. But it's true. All of it. Sobs racked his frame, shoulders shaking. And in that moment, the man I'd known, the easygoing roommate who fixed the leaky faucet without complaint and shared bad puns over microwave burritos, fractured into a stranger. A man unraveling. I sank to the floor across from him, glass crunching under my sneakers, heart hammering like a bass drum in a punk show. "Start from the beginning," I said. Softer now. The fight draining out as empathy crept in. Because that's the curse of us queers, we see the masks. The hidden hurts. We've worn them too long ourselves. He wiped his face with the back of his hand, smearing tears and snot, and when he looked up, his eyes held a depth I'd never plumbed. "It started in college," he began, voice hoarse. "Sophomore year. There was this guy, Ryan. We were on the same intramural team. Blacks bros. You know, beers after practice. Crashing in each other's dorms when the parties got too wild." He paused, staring at the whiskey stain like it held the memories. "One night, we were wasted, wrestling around like idiots, and it just happened." His mouth on mine. My hands on him. It felt right. "Jesse." Like breathing. I leaned forward, elbows on knees. The air between us charged. "Ryan." I'd heard the name in passing, a ghost story from Alex's past. The wild years he glossed over with a shrug. But this was the secret, the locked door he'd just thrown wide. "We hooked up for months," Alex continued, words tumbling faster now, like a dam breaking. "Sneaking into bathrooms at frat parties, late-night drives to nowhere. He called it experimenting, said it didn't make us gay. But guys being guys. But for me, it was everything. The way his laugh vibrated against my skin, the scratch of his stubble. I fell hard. Thought maybe this was me, but... or whatever label fit. The confession hit like a gut punch, stirring something fierce in my chest. Jealousy? Deeper, recognition. I'd hidden my own crushes in high school, burying them under football cheers and fake dates to prom. What happened, Beth? Though I dreaded the answer. His girlfriend found out. Alex's laugh was bitter. Hello. She was the sorority president type, blonde, ambitious, the future Mrs. Perfect. Confronted him in the quad, screaming loud enough for half the campus to hear. Called him a fag. Said he'd ruined everything. Ryan denied it all. Said I forced him. That I was the creepy queer chasing straight tail. He choked on the word. Fists clenching. I transferred schools the next semester. Buried it. Met Shara, my ex. Married her to prove I was normal. Straight. Safe. The pieces clicked. The late nights Alex spent at the office. The way he'd flinch at queer jokes from our mutual friends. The empty beer cans lining the recycling bin after pride parades marched down our street. He'd been fighting a war inside. One I'd unknowingly been collateral in. And tonight, I pressed. Voice barely above a whisper. The kiss lingered on my lips. A ghost I couldn't shake. He met my gaze. Unflinching now. Sarah called. She's engaged. To some finance bro in Chicago. Said she hopes I've fixed myself. A tear tracked down his cheek. It broke something in me. Coming home. Seeing you, laughing at that stupid meme on your phone. Your shirt riding up just enough to show that tattoo on your hip, it hit me. I want this. But I'm terrified. Terrified. The word echoed my own fears, the what-ifs of loving someone who might bolt at the first sign of society's glare. In America, land of the free, we still whisper about men like Alex, the ones who love in shadows, torn between heart and heteronormativity. You're not fixed, I said, reaching across the divide to squeeze his knee. You're just human. We sat there until the whiskey dried, the night thickening around us like a promise. Or a trap. Little did I know. The real storm was just brewing, the kind that rips open old wounds and leaves you bleeding in the rain. As dawn crept in, painting the skyline in bruised purples, Alex finally stood, offering a hand to pull me up. His palm was warm, calloused from drafting tables and unspoken longings. Can we try? He asked. Voice small. I nodded, pulse racing. Yeah. But slow. And honest. Honest. If only it had been that simple. The next week blurred into a tentative dance, brunch at that hipster spot in Williamsburg where the avocado toast cost more than our utilities. Stolen glances over laptops in coffee shops. His foot brushing mine under the table like an electric dare. Alex opened up in fragments, stories of Ryan's laugh. The guilt that gnawed him through his wedding vows. The therapy sessions he'd bailed on because real men don't cry about this shit. I shared my own scars. The foster kid shuffle through Ohio group homes after Mom OD'd. The first boyfriend who beat me black and blue for acting too femme. The pride flag I'd sewn into my backpack at 16 as armor. It felt real. Right? Even. In that messy American way, two guys against the world, building something from the rubble of repression. We'd cook pasta in our tiny kitchen, hips bumping as we stirred sauce, his hand lingering on the small of my back. Kisses evolved from desperate to deep, exploratory, mapping each other's bodies like uncharted maps. One night, tangled in my sheets, his breath hot against my neck. he whispered. You're the first person who's ever seen me. All of me. My heart swelled. Chest tight with that ache only love inflicts, the fear it's too good. Too fragile. I see you, I murmured, tracing the line of his collarbone. And I like what I see. But shadows loomed. Work stress mounted for both of us, my client ghosting on a deadline, Alex's boss piling on overtime for a high-stakes project. Arguments sparked over small things, dishes left in the sink, whose turn it was to take out the trash. You're pulling away, I'd accuse. And he'd snap back. I'm just tired. Jesse. Not everything's a sign. Then came the call from Ohio. His mom. Voice tinny over the speakerphone in our living room. Alex. Honey. We're visiting next month. Bringing the whole family for your cousin's wedding. You bringing a date? The pause stretched. Loaded. I watched from the doorway, invisible, as his face shuddered. No. Ma. Solo. The line went dead, and he hurled his phone across the room. It skidded under the couch. Screen cracked. They can't know, he said, not looking at me. Not yet. Not yet. The words tasted bitter. When? After the wedding? The next family barbecue? Or never? It's complicated. He raked a hand through his hair. Pacing. Dad's got that heart condition, stress could kill him. And the church. Jesus. Jesse. They still pray for my soul at Easter. Complicated. The word ignited the fuse. We yelled, me hurling accusations of cowardice, him defending with pleas of loyalty. You think it's easy? He shouted. Face red. Waking up every day hating the man in the mirror? I love you. But this, us, it's a grenade in my life. He'd said it. Amid the wreckage, that word landed like shrapnel, embedding deep. I grabbed his shirt, pulling him close. Then pull the pin, I whispered against his lips. Blow it up. We made up in the shower, water scalding our skin, bodies slick and urgent. But the seed of doubt had taken root. Weeks later, the wedding invite arrived, gold embossed, promising a celebration of love in the heartland. Alex stared at it over breakfast, cereal soggy in his bowl. Come with me, he said suddenly. I choked on my coffee. As what? Your plus one? Or the dirty secret in the guest room? As my boyfriend. His eyes pleaded. I'll tell them. All of them. The risk terrified me, small-town stares, whispered judgments, the kind of America that still flies Confederate flags at gas stations. But his hand on mine, steady, made me nod. Let's do it. We planned like soldiers, matching flannel shirts from a vintage shop in the village. A rental car with New York plates like a badge of defiance. On the drive, 8 hours of cornfields and classic rock, Alex's grip on the wheel whitened his knuckles. What if they hate me? He murmured as we crossed the state line. They won't, I lied, squeezing his thigh. Or if they do, we drive back. Together. Ohio welcomed us with open arms and veiled questions. His family enveloped us at the airport, Mom's hug too tight. Dad's handshake firm but eyes scanning me like a threat. Jesse. Architect too? Dad asked, clapping Alex on the back. Graphic designer, I corrected, smiling through the grill of scrutiny. The rehearsal dinner was a minefield, Cousins ribbing Alex about finally settling down, aunts cooing over wedding cakes while side-eyeing my rainbow pin on my lapel. That night, in the spare room of his childhood home, posters of Nolan Ryan still taped to the walls. Alex broke. "I can't," he whispered. Back turned as I reached for him. "Not here. Not like this." The rejection stung, cold as the AC humming in the corner. "Then when? This?" But he feigned sleep, leaving me staring at the ceiling, heart fracturing. The ceremony dawned humid, the church steeple piercing a sky heavy with clouds. I sat in the back pew, alone, as Alex stood up front with the bridal party, his smile a mask. Vows echoed, promises of forever, in sickness and health, forsaking all others. Hypocrisy burned in my throat. At the reception in a barn strung with fairy lights, I nursed a beer by the punch bowl, watching Alex dance with his ex-sister-in-law, their laughter easy. A cousin sidled up, breath sour with bourbon. "You Alex's new roommate? Heard you're from the city." "That where all the weirdos come from?" I forced a laugh. "Nah. We're everywhere." Then Sarah appeared, his ex, radiant in a blue sundress, engagement ring glinting like a warning. "Alex has been talking about you non-stop," she said, voice honeyed venom. "Says you're like a brother." Brother. The word landed like a slap. I excused myself, stepping out into the dusk, fireflies winking like conspirators. Alex found me by the pond, tie loosened, face flushed. "Hey. You okay?" "No." Honesty spilled out. "See. This feels like a lie. I'm here, but invisible." "And you dancing with her?" Smiling like nothing's changed. He recoiled. "It's family. Jesse." "Tradition. Tradition or fear?" I shot back, voice rising. Heads turned from the barn, but I didn't care. "You said you'd tell them." "Be proud." "I am proud," he hissed, grabbing my arm. But not at the cost of everything. We argued under the stars, whispers turning to shouts, love twisting into accusation. "You're ashamed," I said finally, tears hot. "Me. Of us." "No," he reached, but I pulled away. A shadow detached from the darkness, his father, pipe in hand, face thunderous. "What's this noise?" "Son." Alex froze, the moment crystallizing. "Tell him." I willed silently. "Claim us." Instead, he straightened, forcing a grin. "Just catching up." "The old times." The lie sealed it. I walked back to the car alone, packing my bag in the motel room we'd shared. When he returned hours later, reeking of cake and cowardice, I was gone, tires screeching into the night, heart in shards. Back in Brooklyn, the apartment echoed empty. Texts went unanswered, calls straight to voicemail. Days bled into weeks, my designs turning dark, thorns instead of rainbows. Then, the knock. Alex on the stoop, a duffel at his feet. "I'm done hiding," he said, voice steady. "Quit my job. Told my folks. Didn't take it well." Dad hung up. Mom cried. "But I'm here." Relief warred with rage. "Why now? Because losing you?" That's the real death. We fell into each other. Messy and real. Bodies remembering what words had forgotten. But trust? That would take time. Fall descended on New York like a sigh, leaves turning crimson in Prospect Park. The air crisp with the promise of change. Alex moved back in, but the space between us hummed with unspoken fractures. We tiptoed around the landmines, no more family talk at dinner. No prying into the voicemails he deleted without listening. He threw himself into freelance drafting, sketching sustainable lofts for queer-owned co-ops. A quiet rebellion. I watched him sometimes, pencil flying over paper, brow furrowed in concentration, and felt that pull again, the magnetic ache of wanting someone broken but beautiful. Sex bridged the gaps, raw and reclaiming. In the mornings, sunlight slanting through blinds, he'd wake me with lips on my hip bone, tracing the tattoo I'd gotten post-breakup, a phoenix in watercolor flames. Mine, he'd murmur against my skin, hands mapping the planes of my back. I'd arch into him, nails digging crescents into his shoulders, chasing the high of connection. But after, in the quiet, doubts whispered, was this love? Or just loneliness dressed up? Our first real date post-Ohio was at a speakeasy in the East Village, dim lights, jazz humming low, bartenders in suspenders mixing Manhattans with theatrical flair. Alex's knee pressed mine under the scarred oak table, a steady anchor. To us, he toasted, clinking glasses, his smile tentative but true. To not fucking it up, I countered, earning his laugh, that deep, rumbling sound that still unraveled me. We talked for hours, dreams deferred, like his abandoned sketchbook of what-if houses, curved roofs for hidden gardens, windows framing secret views. I confessed my novel, half-written on my laptop, a queer coming-of-age in Rust Belt America, characters too close to home. Vulnerability flowed easy with bourbon, but as the night deepened, his phone buzzed. A known number. He silenced it, but the shadow lingered. Who? I asked later, walking hand in hand through the drizzle-slick streets. No one. Too quick. The lie festered. Days later, I found the text, his phone left charging on the bathroom counter. Screen aglow. Sarah. Miss you. Come to Chicago? We can talk. For old times. Old times. My stomach twisted. I confronted him over takeout Thai. Containers spilling curry like blood. You're texting her? After everything? Alex's fork clattered. She's just a friend. Reaching out. Bullshit. Heroes. Betrayal sharp as glass. You ran to her after the wedding. Am I the rebound now? No. She stood. Chair scraping. It's not like that. She's getting married. Jesse. Closure. Closure. I laughed. Hello. Or temptation. The safe straight life calling you back? His face crumpled. You think I'd throw us away for that? After I came out to my family, for you? The words hung. Weapons in the air. We circled each other. Accusations flying. My jealousy a cage. His secrecy a key. I need space, he said finally, grabbing his jacket. The door slammed, echoing the first night's click. He didn't come home. Panic clawed me, visions of bar fights, Ohio relapses, or worse, Sarah's arms. I paced the apartment, Grinder notifications mocking from my phone. Delete. Fuck. But the hurt rooted deep. A weed in my chest. Dawn brought him back. Eyes bloodshot. Reeking of rain and regret. Walked all night, he admitted. Collapsing onto the couch. Thought about running. To her. To anyone who wouldn't make me face this. My throat tightened. And? Couldn't. He pulled me down. Face buried in my neck. You're my home. Jesse. Message. Terrifying home. We cried then. Snotty sobs that stripped us bare. Forgiveness came slow. Stitched with promises, therapy together. Open phones. No more ghosts. Winter bit hard. Snow blanketing the city in hush. We built rituals, hot cocoa spiked with Baileys on the fire escape. Watching plows rumble by, midnight runs to the bodega for eggs and apologies after fights. Alex's sketches evolved. Incorporating my input, a loft with a hidden queer library. Walls painted in pride gradients. Our future, he'd say. Kissing my temple. But America doesn't let go easy. Spring thawed the ice. And with it came the letter from his father's lawyer. Disinheritance. For bringing shame on the family name. Alex read it aloud. Steady. But his hands shook. They found out. From the wedding gossip. Probably. Rage boiled in me. Fuck them. We'll build our own. He nodded. But the light dimmed in his eyes. That night, lovemaking turned tender. Almost mournful, fingers interlaced. Gazes locked. As if memorizing. I love you, he breathed. Release shuddering through us. I know, I whispered. Holding tight. The high faded fast. Alex withdrew, sketches abandoned. Smile strained. Depression, the therapist called it. Prescribing pills and patience. I played nurse. Brewing coffee strong. Dragging him to therapy. But resentment simmered. Was I his anchor or his burden? The breaking point came in June. Heatwave Redux. A gallery show for my work, bold posters of intertwined male forms. Defiantly erotic. Alex promised to come. Tie on. But 8 p.m. By. Empty seat beside me. Texts, running late. Boss emergency. But I spotted him later on Instagram, tagged in a group shot at an architecture mixer. Arm around a colleague named Tyler. Both grinning wide. Tyler, blonde. The kind of straight-passing pretty that turns heads. Humiliation burned. I left the show early, chugging vodka neat in our kitchen. When he stumbled in at midnight, Ty asked you. I was waiting. Where were you? Networking. Defensive. Bullshit. Saw the pic. Who's Tyler? A coworker, he said, loosening his collar. It's nothing. Nothing. I hurled my phone at him. The photo glaring. You ditched me for him? After swearing. It's not romantic, he yelled. Dodging the device. He's straight. Married. We talk shop. That's it. But the seed of doubt flowered into fury. Or maybe it's everything. The easy out, bros before boyfriends. Jesse. Stop. His voice cracked. You're spiraling. Am I? I advanced. Chest to chest. Are you still chasing normalcy? While I fight for us. He pushed past me, toward the door. I need air. Don't, I grabbed his wrist. Sit. Fight. He wrenched free. Eyes wild. I am fighting. Every goddamn day. But you look at me like I'm half a man. Like coming out wasn't enough. The truth sliced deep. Because it wasn't, I admitted. Voice breaking. You hide pieces still. And it kills me. Silence stretched. Taut as wire. Then, maybe it should. To. Door clicking soft this time, not locked, but sealed. Days blurred into radio silence. Friends rallied, drinks at the Stonewall. Pep talks from my ex. The photographer. Who's it? Straight passing boys break us hardest. I nodded. Sketching his face in charcoal, eyes haunted, lips parted in perpetual almost confession. A week later, the ex post went viral. Alex? Live from an LGBTQ+ panel at his old firm, uninvited. But crashing it anyway. I'm bi, he declared on camera. Voice steady despite the gasps. And I love a man who's taught me courage. Jesse, if you're watching, I'm all in. No more doors locked. The clip exploded, shares from influencers, comments flooding, support. The full American spectrum. I watched on loop, tears blurring the screen. Pride swelled, tangled with fear. Was this redemption or desperation? He showed up at midnight, panel badge still clipped to his shirt. Did you see? Yeah. I pulled him inside, hands framing his face. Brave. We tumbled to the floor, clothes shedding like old skins, bodies frantic with reunion. No more secrets, he gasped. Inside me, our rhythms sinking like heartbeats. Promise, I moaned, arching. But promises are paper in a storm. Summer peaked, and with it, opportunity, a job offer for Alex in San Francisco, progressive haven, tech money for green builds. Come with me, he begged over rooftop beers. City lights winking below. Fresh start. Temptation tugged, escape the brownstone ghosts, build in rainbow streets. But roots ran deep, my zine collective, the gallery circuit, friends who'd carried me through. 6 months, I countered. Trial run. Long distance. His face fell. Why not now? Because love isn't running, I said gently. It's staying. Agreement came reluctant, laced with dread. Airport goodbye was agony. His flight to San Francisco airport for scouting, mine back to empty sheets. Texts flew hourly, hearts. Miss your laugh. Then silence. A day. Panic clawed. The call came from Tyler. Jesse? It's Alex's colleague. In the hospital. Car accident. They airlifted him. World tilted. I booked the red eye. Heart in throat. SFO General was a blur, sterile halls. Beeps like accusations. Alex? Bandaged and bruised. Eyes fluttering open. Jesse? I'm here. I gripped his hand. For lines snaking. Tyler was driving. We were out. Celebrating the offer. Guilt shadowed his words. Celebrating. The word soured. With him. Not like pain cut him off. Morphine dulling edges. But later, piecing it from nurses, Late night? Too many drinks? Tyler's Jeep wrapping around a guardrail on the 101. Tyler walked away, Alex didn't. Betrayal bloomed fresh. You lied, I whispered that night. Alone in the waiting room. Staring at discharge papers. Celebrating what? Or escape? Discharge brought awkward limbo, Alex hobbling on crutches in a sublet. Me crashing on the couch. Tyler visited daily. Tika? Bad jokes. A hand on Alex's shoulder too lingering. Bro code, Alex dismissed. But his laugh rang false. One evening. I walked in on them, Tyler leaning close. Wiping sauce from Alex's lip. Their eyes locking a beat too long. Hey, I said. Voice steel. Tyler bolted excuses, Alex flushed. It's nothing. Everything's something, I snapped. You're flirting with disaster. Jealous? He shot back. Crutches clattering as he stood. What? A straight married guy? Or the life you're still chasing? The fight erupted, words as weapons. Slicing old scars. You left me in New York, he yelled. Pushed for distance. Then act shocked when I build something here. I left. You flew first. Tears streamed. And now the accident? The lies. Tyler's text to Alex piled up on the shared charger. Miss our talks. Sarah was right. You're too good for drama. Sarah. Finn. The circle closed. I can't, Alex said finally. Deflating. Not like this. Not with you doubting every breath. Heart-shattering. I packed. Then don't. The door clicked behind me. Final as a verdict. San Francisco's fog clung like grief, muting the city's sparkle as I wandered Haight Street. Backpack heavy with regret. Crash on a friend's couch, Lena. A dyke photographer with a Victorian flat and a no bullshit vibe. Dump his ass, she said over vegan tacos. Her tattooed arms gesturing like punctuation. Straight adjacent boys are emotional quicksand. But dumping felt like amputation. I scrolled his feed obsessively, posts of recovery runs, crutches abandoned. Tyler in half the frames, beers on rooftops. Golden Gate blurred behind. No tags for me. Erased. Back in Brooklyn? The apartment sublet to a dancer friend, my stuff in storage. I chased gigs, a mural for a queer youth center in the Castro. Bold strokes of intertwined hands defying erasure. Brush to canvas became therapy. Colors bleeding my ache, deep indigos for doubt. Fiery oranges for fury. A month in. The email, Alex. Can we talk? Neutral ground. Neutral, a diner in No Valley. Vinyl booths cracked like old hearts. He arrived early. Nursing black coffee. Thinner but steadier, hair longer. Stubble silver flecked. You look good, he said. Voice off. Liar. I slid into the booth. Walls up. What's this about? Closure. He pushed a folder across. Divorce papers. Finalized. And this. A sketch, our loft dream. Refined. With a dedication. For Jesse. Build with me. Hope flickered. Treacherous. What about Tyler? Fired him. Matter of fact. After the accident, I saw it, projection. Chasing the bro fantasy to avoid the real. Real. You. His hand inched toward mine. If you'll have me. Temptation warred with wisdom. Why believe you now? Because I lost everything to find this. Eyes earnest. Therapy? The works. I'm out, loud and proud. Panel every month. Mentoring by guys from Ohio transplants. Pride swelled. But caution held. Slow, I said. Dates. No merging lives. Agreement sealed with a handshake, electric. Promising. Dating Alex 2.0 was revelation. Hikes in Muir Woods. Hands clasped on fern-lined trails. His stories unfiltered, Ryan's ghost exorcised. Family estrangement a scar he owned. Evenings at queer open mics. Him reciting poetry about the man who unlocked my cage, voice trembling to applause. Intimacy rebuilt brick by brick. First kiss tentative in my borrowed bed. Building to nights of exploration. His body a landscape I'd mapped but never fully claimed. Tell me what you want, I'd whisper. And he'd guide my hands. Voice husky. Always you. But America tests resilience. Fall brought his mom's visit, unannounced. Ticket clutched like a truce. Lena's flat became battlefield, her at the kitchen table. Bible worn. Eyes scanning my mural sketches like sins. We prayed for you, she said to Alex. Voice quaver. This. Phase. Not a phase. Mum. He stood tall. Jesse's my future. Tears flowed. Us. No hugs. But a nod. Be happy. Son. Door closed soft. Progress? Fragile. Thanksgiving, my chosen family potluck in the mission, drag queens carving turkey? Toasts to survival. Alex fit seamless. Carving space with jokes and vulnerability. To the queers who raised me, he said. I'm around me. Earning cheers. Love deepened. Roots intertwining. But winter whispered warnings. A letter from Dad, not disownment. But conditional, come home alone. Or stay lost. Alex burned it in the sink. Flames dancing like defiance. Spring bloomed hope, my novel accepted by a small press. Queer imprint. Launch party in the Castro, bubbles and books. Alex beaming proud. My boyfriend's a genius, he told strangers. Hand possessive on my waist. Yeah. Crack spidered. Late nights at his new firm, sustainable high-rises for tech bros. Overt, he'd say. Home at dawn. Cologne faint but foreign. Paranoia crept. Another Tyler? Confrontation over dim sum. Who's the late shift really for? Promotion. Defensive. Bigger projects. Stability, for us. Us. I pushed. Or your escape hatch? Trust frayed. Then. The fight. His phone buzzing during sex. Screen lighting his guilty face. I snatched it, texts from work buddy. Last night was hot. Round 2. Not Tyler. Marks. Contractor, bearded. Bi-curious. Emoji hearts trailing. Betrayal detonated. You promised. He crumpled. It was one time. Stupid. I was scared of the book tour taking you away. Of us fading. Scared. Fury blinded. You fuck around? That's not fear, that's sabotage. Sobs racked him. I'm broken. Jesse. Wired to run. Fix yourself. I stormed out. Streets blurring with rain. Days of silence. Then, his voicemail, raw. I'm checking into rehab. For real this time. Not for you, for me. If we have a shot. If not. I get it. Rehab, a clinic in the Napa Hills. Vines heavy with grapes. Visits weekly, me driving winding roads. Heart pounding. He emerged changed, clear eyes. Sketches reborn. Group therapy, he shared. By men like me, we're invisible. Taught me to own it. Forgiveness? Tentative. We dated anew, picnics by the bay. His head on my lap. Stars wheeling overhead. Marry me? He asked one night. Ring simple, silver band etched with our coordinates. That first Brooklyn lock click. Tears pricked. Yes. But doubt lingered. Was this endgame? Or intermission? Summer scorched. And with it? Crisis. My book tour, coast to coast. Readings in dusty indie shops. Q&As on Writing the Closet. Alex joined for the finale in NYC, our old stomping grounds. The reading, packed house. Applause thunderous. After party at a loft in Chelsea, queer luminaries. Champagne flowing. He shone, networking with publishers. Charm dialed high. But midnight brought the shadow, a fan. Young architect. Starry-eyed. You're Alex Rivera? The coming out panel legend. Flirtation sparked, subtle. Then overt, hands on arms. Laughs too intimate. I watched from across the room. Gut twisting. History repeating. Confrontation in the alley. Bass thumping muffled. Again? With him. Just talking. But his flush betrayed. Talking leads to fucking. Alex. You know it. He deflated. I'm trying. But the attention. It's intoxicating. After years invisible. Intoxicating. Belef. Bitter. Or validation from strangers over me? Words escalated, accusations of addiction. Inadequacy. You use people, I spat. Me. Fellow. Marcus. Crutches for your chaos. And you, he hurled back. Judge from your pedestal? Your book's success doesn't make you saint. Truth stung. We parted furious, me to a hotel. Him to the red-eye home. Alone in sheets that smelled of strangers. Regret crashed. Text. Pride held. Weeks later. The package, his sketches. The ring. A note. I lied again. The fan? One drink. Nothing more. But you're right, I'm a hurricane. Deserve better. Alex. Hurricane. Fitting. I traced the band. Heart leaden. Fall leaves turned in SF. Tour done. Back to Linus. Walls echoing empty. Therapy solo now, unpacking my patterns, saving broken boys. Mistaking fixes for love. Then, winter solstice, his text. Panel in SF. Come. I went. Back row. Anonymous. He spoke Vestetti. Story hours. The luck. Because. The Rex. Love isn't perfect, he said. It's choosing. Daily. I choose Jesse. Even if he won't choose me. Applause swelled, tears mine. Post-panel. Green room. That true? I asked. Every word. Hands open. Vulnerable. Fight for it, I said. Stepping close. No more storms. Kiss, salt and second chances. Rebuilding was excavation, digging through rubble for salvageable pieces. We moved slow, weekly check-ins with a couples counselor in the Castro. Her office scented sage and safety. Boundaries, she urged. Whiteboard scrawled with hours. Open phones. No work flirtations. Pause words for brewing fights. Alex embraced it. Journaling triggers, family echoes. By erase your fears. I confronted mine, abandonment scars from foster hops. Equating love with loss. Spring unfurled gentle, a lease on a sunny flat in no valley, exposed brick. Bay windows framing fog-kissed hills. We painted walls cerulean. Hung his sketches beside my murals. Housewarming, potluck of chosen kin, Lena's queer collective. By allies from his panels. Laughter-filled rooms. Toasts to imperfect us. Intimacy flowered, mornings tangled. His fingers combing my hair. Whispers of gratitude. You stayed, he'd say. In his voice. We'd walk the Embarcadero. Hands linked against salt wind. Future, he'd ask. Stars pricking the dome. Maybe, I'd muse. Adopted. Teaching them to lock no doors. His squeeze, promise. But America stirs pots. Summer brought the call, his cousin's wedding. Same barn. Different year. Come, he asked. Tentative. Hesitation gripped. Last time, I hid. This time, out. Eyes fierce. With you, we flew. Hearts armored. Airport pickup, family subdued. Mom's hug warmer. Dad absent. Heart, she explained. Eyes wet. But he asks about you. Jesse. Says. Proud. The word unlocked floods. Rehearsal, whispers. But no stares. Alex introduced me, my partner. Simple. Seismic. Dinner, toasts inclusive. Aunt's queer son sharing stories. Family's family, he said. Clinking my glass. Ceremony, pew shared. His hand in mine through vows. Rings exchanged up front. Later. In the garden, vows handwritten. I choose your chaos. Your calm. Reception. We danced, slow. Defiant. To Johnny Cash's Ring of Fire. Eyes locked. World fading. Love you, he mouthed. Forever, I echoed. Mattel bed, bodies reverent. Tracing scars, his from accident, mine from fists. Whole, he breathed. Release a sacrament. Return to SF, lighter. Bonded. But trials temper. Fall, my novel's backlash. Reviews slinging gay agenda. Trolls doxing. Hate mail piled, poisoning youth. Alex shielded, reading aloud the good ones. Blocking the venom. They're scared, he'd say. Holding me through sobs. Like I was. His firm faltered, client pullouts post coming out. Bigots, he spat. But fear flickered. Job hunt, rejections laced microaggressions, cultural fit? We leaned, temp gigs. My book royalties bridging. Team, we affirmed. Ramen nights turning ritual. Winter solstice, proposal redux. This time public, Alcatraz tour. Foghorns serenading. On the rock. Knee down, marry me. Jesse. Build the storm with me. Yes, I choked. Ring slipping on, fit perfect. Wedding plan, small. Queer-coded. Venue, a vineyard in Napa. Vines twisting like us. Suits, custom. Rainbow threads hidden in cuffs. Vows, raw, I lock no doors, I open all. Day dawned golden. I'll. Friends' dogs as ring bearers. Lena officiating in tuxedo tux. Jesse and Alex, she boomed. You've wrecked and rebuilt. Witness. Exchanges, rings. Cheers. Dance, under stars. His chest to mine. Husband, he whispered. Husband. Joy burst. Honeymoon, road trip, Route 66 reversed. Eastbound to Ohio. Stops, queer bars in Tulsa. Murals in Kansas City. Ohio arrival, mom's farm. Dad on porch, frail, but eyes soft. Boys, he rasped. Extending hand. Alex took it, I followed. No words, but a nod. Supper, awkward. Then easing, stories swapped. Laughter tentative. Departure, hug from Dad. Take care of each other. We will, Alex promised. Back west, life layered. Adoption papers filed, foster kid. Eyes like Alex's. Therapy ongoing. Panels co-led. My sequel brewed by love's nuances. No villains. One night. Fire crackling. Boy asleep upstairs. Alex pulled me close. Regret. Never. Kiss deep. You. Only hiding so long. Hand on belly, ours growing. Perhaps. But now? Full. America's vast, bigots bellow. But pockets pulse progress, pride waves. Laws shifting. We navigate. Hand in scarred hand. The door? Unlocked. Secrets? Human. Message. Ours. In the end, it's not the lock that matters, but the key we forge together, turning, please, toward light.